It's one of your favorite combo. Clinton Joshua, Chinenye Nnebe Somadina Adinma star in this movie titled No Love Lost, an Uchenna Mbunabo production. Now, is this worth your time? So we have Amaka, played by Chinenye Nnebe, a street food vendor who hustles for herself and her hot-tempered boyfriend, Ebuka, played by Somadina Adinma. Out of frustration, Ebuka chases Amaka out of their house. Lucky for Amaka, she gets a job opportunity as a housekeeper for Dennis, played by Clinton Joshua. Now, first things first, the opening and the end credits were visually appealing. Shout out to the editor of this movie, Taiwo Ogunde. This movie has its good and its bad aspects, and I'll be looking at those aspects side by side. And this review will come with spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it before you watch this review. Now, honestly speaking, halfway through watching the movie, the narrative felt kind of too predictable and it became a little bit boring to me. But there was later on a plot twist that I didn't see coming. So the narrative of this movie is somewhat predictable, but mostly predictable, if that makes any sense. To be more specific, the plot twist of Dennis being Ebuka's brother was not predictable. But trust me, if you've seen a lot of movies, you'd be able to guess correctly who the character Amaka would eventually choose between the two brothers. Like, that was expected. Amaka leaving Ebuka for a short while was predictable. Dennis falling in love with Amaka was predictable. Even the little twist of the character Laura having a crush on Dennis was quite expected. Now, speaking of the character Laura, played by Victoria Esogwai, her acting is good to some point, but honestly speaking, when she speaks, it feels as if she's reading from a script. It doesn't feel natural to me at all. Plus, there was even a scene where Laura was speaking to someone over the phone, where she admitted her feelings for Dennis. Now, are you kidding me? Out of all the places she could have done that call, it had to be at Dennis' house, at his living room, where anyone could just barge in and overhear a conversation. She had a crush on Dennis and she didn't want him to know. Normally, if she was so desperate to talk about it with someone, she could have done that at her house, normally, over the phone. But no, they made her come over to Dennis' house to make that call. And coincidentally, Dennis overheard this. Sorry, to me, it felt a little bit unrealistic and planned. Yeah. Now, speaking of coincidence, there was a character that made mention of Amaka being the link to how Dennis found his long-lost brother. Now, if you ask me, honestly speaking, how the character Ebuka found where Amaka was currently working felt a little bit planned to me. Like, what was he even doing at that kind of place? It was as if they told him to stay there, stay inside that taxi. Amaka would come here. And it miraculously happened. To me, it felt unrealistic and planned. Like, honestly speaking, that kind of coincidence is now literally cliche to me. Yes, it's cliche. Now, for Obijay, who played the character of Dennis and Ebuka's dad, his character was a drunkard, yes. But I honestly feel that he didn't really enact that drunken state really well. It wasn't convincing enough to me. And another downside of this movie was actually the Uchenna Mbunabo TV watermark. That watermark was distracting, and plus, they had to set it at the midsection of the movie. It was too distracting for me personally. The watermark even made the facial complexion of the cast seem a little bit odd. One fact about this movie is that it came with a few casts, but most of which gave commendable performances, coming from Chinenye Nnebe, Clinton Joshua, and Somadina. Now, my favorite character here was actually that of Zainab. She slayed her role. Like, her acting was spectacular. She gave a stellar performance. And for me, it's the way she always addresses Ebuka as Mike Tyson. Chinenye Nnebe was great with her role, and so was Somadina. CJ did justice to his character, Dennis, who had this calm, gentle, and caring personality. Just that I felt like there was nothing new to his character this time. There was a case of a character dynamic for the character Ebuka, and the fact that he was being tested was predictable too. It became quite obvious when this particular passenger was just brewing for trouble. It was obvious that someone had sent her, and they did. So to wrap it all up, this movie delves into the themes of love, family dynamics, forgiveness, child abuse, violence, trauma, and more. The cinematography was good, the lighting was good, same with the editing. But the narrative was somewhat predictable, although there was a lesson behind it, yes. There was a lesson behind the narrative, but it was somewhat predictable. To me, the movie is actually mediocre, and it's definitely a one-time watch time for me. So I think I'll be giving this movie a 3 out of 5 thumbs up. If you've seen the movie, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time on my review. Bye.